That sound your card makes? The little beep. Most people think that's approval. It isn't. It's a toll booth opening and you just paid it. Not to the coffee shop, not to your bank, to a financial gatekeeper you've probably never even thought about. Every time you tap your card, every time you order online, every time a subscription renews at 2:13 a.m., a tiny percentage of your money disappears. You don't see it, you don't approve it, you can't avoid it. And here's the part that should bother you. This isn't a government tax, it's a private one. And almost the entire world agreed to it without realizing. But a few years ago, one country deleted the toll booth. No 3% cut, no invisible skim, which raises a dangerous question: if they can live without it, why are you still paying? Stay with me, because once you see this system, you'll never hear that beep the same way again. Let's expose it. When you spend $100, the business doesn't actually receive $100. They receive $97, sometimes $96. That missing slice doesn't vanish. It flows upward through a network most people never question. The highways your money travels on are largely controlled by Visa and Mastercard. They don't sell groceries. They don't brew coffee. They don't deliver your food. They built the road, and every digital dollar pays rent. Here's the part nobody says out loud. You never voted for this system. It just became normal. And the reason it became normal is more strategic than most people realize. 3% sounds harmless until you zoom out. Imagine a city where every store gives 3% of its revenue to the same two companies. Now imagine that city is the entire world. This isn't pocket change. Swipe fees generate hundreds of billions every year. In some years, more than the GDP of small countries. Not from products, but from permission. Permission for money to move. And once you see it that way, it stops looking like a convenience fee. It starts looking like infrastructure rent. Then there's the part that quietly reshaped the internet. Many online processors charge 2.9% plus 30 cents. Companies like Stripe and PayPal. That extra 30 cents is where things get interesting. Sell something for $1 and nearly a third disappears instantly. That's why you don't see 50-cent downloads or $1 premium articles. Micro pay-per-use tools rarely survive in that environment. The toll didn't just take money, it changed pricing psychology. It killed microtransactions and pushed everything towards subscriptions. The internet didn't naturally evolve that way. It was nudged there by a fee structure. And that's where the real design begins. So why aren't people angry? Because tapping doesn't hurt. Cash hurts. You feel it leave your hand. Digital payments feel like air. No friction, no counting, no sensation of loss. That soft beep feels like comfort. Try something next time. Pause before you tap. Just half a second. And comfort hides systems. If every swipe forced you to physically hand over $3 to a stranger standing behind you, you'd notice immediately. But because it's invisible, you don't. And that invisibility is where the real power lives. For decades, this was considered inevitable. Just the cost of modern finance. Permanent. But in 2016, something happened that made the global payments industry nervous. One country asked a simple question. What if the toll booth isn't required? What if we build our own road? What happened next forced everyone to rethink the rules. India launched the Unified Payments Interface, built by the National Payments Corporation of India to change how money moves. Not a card network, not a private toll road, a real-time public payment rail. Bank to bank, phone to phone, instant. For most merchant transactions, the swipe fee dropped to zero. When a customer sends $100, the merchant receives $100. Street vendors adopted it, taxi drivers adopted it, small shops adopted it. Digital payments without surrendering 3% every time. That breaks a major myth. The toll was never inevitable. It was structural, and structures can be redesigned. But redesigning a system always creates a new one. And this is where things get complicated. Infrastructure still costs money. Fraud still exists. Banks still need revenue. So when the transaction toll shrank, monetization didn't disappear. It moved upward. Apps like PhonePe and Google Pay don't rely on swipe skims. They monetize behavior instead through credit offers, microloans, and financial products layered on top. The toll didn't disappear. It evolved from paying to move money to paying within the ecosystem. Less visible, more integrated. Now zoom out. Most of the world still runs on privately owned payment highways. One model extracts per transaction, another extracts through financial layering. Two systems, two possible futures. And as cash continues to fade, whoever owns the rails controls credit access, transaction data, consumer behavior signals, and economic visibility. This isn't just about 3%. It's about who controls movement. Because control of movement is control of power, and none of this feels dramatic until it is. We're moving toward instant payments, digital identity systems, embedded finance inside every app, and even central bank digital currencies. The next toll booth may not charge you per swipe. It may quietly shape what you're allowed to do. Approving credit before you ask, adjusting limits automatically, scoring your financial behavior in the background. Frictionless, seamless, optimized, almost invisible. And the smoothest systems are often the most powerful. So the next time you tap your card and hear that soft little beep, don't just think, payment approved. Ask yourself, where did the slice go? Who owns the road? And what version of this system is being built next? Because in the modern world, money doesn't just move, it pays to move. And the most powerful toll booth are the ones you don't even realize you're walking through.